Oh, hello. Welcome to my not a sewing video. I'm Emily, your friend and hostess and all around non-sewing at this moment person. I was just noticing that there's what I think are old cobwebs up in the corner. And if that's true, that means that there was a spider living in my house. And now I'm wondering how long that spider lived in my house. Where did he move to? Is he still here? Do I need to burn the place down? These are thoughts that, ruminate in my mind periodically. Today I have my favorite Catherine de Medici's Time Travel Society mug, which is making me super happy and joyful. I hope that you are all drinking tea with me. Today's tea is a peach turmeric tea that I got at a lovely little tea shop in Port Townsend, whose name escapes me at the moment, but I will post it in the description for this video. I'm learning to do that. Well, I mean, I know how to do that, but I'm learning to say, I'll do that and then do it. It's amazing. I can learn. Putting tea down, though, even though it is fantastic and delicious. Welcome to Friday's video. I'm in horrible lighting. Don't even know where my light is. I have 3 light sources, none of them which are on me. And my infamous ring light is upstairs in my infamous sewing room. And I don't really want to go get it because I don't wanna. So hopefully you can see me well enough. Couple of things this week. I know I've talked about the Victorian Heritage Festival that was held in Port Townsend a lot. And I'm going to keep talking about it because I'll tell you what, almost on a daily basis, I think to myself, man, I wish I was still there, all dressed up in Victorian clothes, striding up and down the streets, going into the little shops, hanging out with my friends who are also impeccably dressed in Victorian clothes, seeing beautiful Victorian homes, watching the ocean, feeling the ocean breeze. It's amazing. Next year, you should all go. Get your Victorian outfits ready and come join in on the fun because it's amazing. And there's nothing quite like dressing up with your friends and just enjoying a long weekend outing with them. One of the outfits that I wore was my 2-hour skirt, which I'm very pleased with myself. I mean, I'm not pleased that I didn't finish my green dress. More on that coming up. But I did get the skirt done in 2 hours, which is kind of insane, but also doable because these skirt patterns really are just these large pieces. This is I'd say almost medium weight fabric, so it is not lined. I only line my skirt fabrics when they are very lightweight or sheer or in need of stiffening. Otherwise, I don't because I don't want to. And then I put this strip of dark purple trim on it. At the festival, I discovered what I discover with all of my historical outfits. I have this horrible thing where no matter how much I measure and how careful I am, all of my skirts and dresses are always too short. I don't know why. They're always like 2 inches too short. The same 2 inches too short. Now, for those who don't know, the standard on historical clothing wear pretty much from the Regency through early Edwardian era is walking length touches the top of your foot. So when you walk, it should brush the top of your foot or your shoe. Now, there are some gowns that go all the way to the ground. That's great. Good for them. Hopefully they tread better than the rest of us. But in general, walking length is the top of your foot. And by top of your foot, I really mean the top of your toe box, not the top of your ankle that's right up next to your, where it meets on your leg. So like if this is your leg and this is your foot and this is your ankle where it meets your leg, not right here. Right here. Down here. Down here. So it's going to brush across your toes, basically. And that's just so that it doesn't get under your toes. Also, streets were filthy back in the day. A lot of times streets were just dirt and mud, and or there were rocks and gravel. And even if the streets had cobblestones or paving, I mean, horses pooped on those streets and didn't always get cleaned up and had a chance to dry there. I mean, the early automobiles just blew smoke and grossness everywhere. I mean, the streets were filthy dirty. And so if skirts were brushing the ground constantly, they were going to get so dirty. That's why also women tended to hold their skirts up in their hands when they crossed from one side of the street to the other, because the actual street itself, filthy. So luckily I did a fairly big seam on this. I'd say it's about 2 inches. So I am going to let this out to a much smaller seam and I think do something a little different with the trim. I haven't really decided yet. I have a lot of this purple trim. Oh, the table's moving. I leaned and the table moved. Didn't realize that was going to happen. Oh, it's happening more. Okay, I'm going to just push the table until it stops moving because there's a wall. Wall. Ha, hit the wall. Okay, not hit, touch the wall. Kiss the wall. Didn't really hit the wall. Is anyone listening? Okay, good. Because I'm always really like, table can't be right up against the wall. It leaves marks. And so I don't want to be like, oh, I totally hit the wall. So I have a ton of this purple trim. I mean, this is several yards of it. So I was thinking of maybe doing 2 bands around the bottom of the skirt, a few inches apart from each other, and then maybe even some sort of design. I don't know. I have enough of this fabric to make a vest and probably a jacket for a walking suit. So I can trim those with purple as well. That's exciting. I'm excited. There is a local Regency event coming up on Saturday where we're all going to a kabuta garden to walk amongst the beautiful flowers, picnic, and just enjoy the general loveliness. But it is expected to rain here in the Seattle area most of the day tomorrow and most of the day Sunday. Weather reports can't be trusted out here. Events are always rescheduled due to rain, and you can almost guarantee that it will not rain the day it was meant to happen, just to spite you. So I don't know. I'm kind of hoping it does get rescheduled. Here's why. So if it does not get rescheduled, I will probably end up wearing this Regency day dress that I made several years ago. Recently, I mean, white is so hard in costuming because everything gets on it. And this top part, especially around the collar, had gotten so dingy. So I soaked it in, what did I soak it in? I soaked it in stuff that's supposed to help it get whiter. Not bleach. It's common stuff, powdery stuff. I don't remember what it's called. I never remember what things are called, guys. I'm sorry. So I soaked it in that for a while, and then I washed it, and it's still a little dingy, but not nearly as bad as it was. But it kind of looks like it shrunk. Like the top of this dress shrunk. Which, I've washed it before. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have dried it, or I don't know. What's weird is it kind of feels like the top fabric shrunk and the lining fabric didn't, because the lining fabric is kind of, doesn't feel as tight up against the outer fabric as it used to be. I don't know. It's really strange. I do have another option or two, but I don't love them. And I prefer wearing something where I can wear proper Regency attire. Now, I'm going to get on my historically accurate soapbox here, so if you don't want to deal with that, now is a good time for a bathroom break. Women did not expose themselves to the sun until probably the late 1960s. It was considered just not the thing to do to have sun-touched skin by women. Being as creamy and pale as you could was the epitome of beauty. So during the day, women had long sleeves. Even if their dress was a short sleeve dress, there were long sleeves attached to it. Or they wore long gloves during the day to cover up their arms. This part of the chest was always covered during the day. There are different things, fichus, scarves, partlets. There's different names for them, but it all amounts to fabric placed right here. Sometimes it was like a lace triangle that was put here to keep the sun off you. Sometimes it was something embroidered and pretty. Sometimes it was tucked under the dress. Sometimes it went over the dress. But you were always covered up right here during the day. It was also considered immodest for women to show this part of their chest during the day until late afternoon. Depending on the time period, that could mean anywhere from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, depending on when dinner time / supper time. This is a whole nother thing. Anyway, but during the day, you did not show your décolletage area at all. Also, you would never leave your house without your hat. Even when we get into like the Victorian bustle eras and stuff, where the hats got smaller and cute and a lot more decorative and a lot less keeping the sun off of you, you would always have your hat on when you left the house because that was the fashion. And also, when the hats got smaller, the parasols got bigger. And so women would carry their parasols with them to keep the sun off of them. Anyway, white dress and one of my other dresses, I have sleeves, long sleeves that go on with them, but one or two of my other Regency outfits, I haven't fixed them so that they can be worn historically accurately yet. I am in the middle of making a new Regency outfit. It's from the earlier end of the Regency era, the mid to late 1790s. It's one of those transition dresses. But it's slow going, and so it would not be done by this upcoming Sunday, but it would be done by next weekend should the outing be moved. So I'm kind of hoping and voting for the outing to be moved. I know it's selfish, but I also don't want to walk around in the rain should it rain. And if it does rain all day tomorrow, then all of the pathways and everything at the Kabuto Gardens are going to be muddy and gross anyway. And people in pretty costumes don't tend to like to walk around in muddy grossness. I also need to get the green dress done because I keep promising my friend who made her own 1840s dress based on the same pattern and got hers done and wore it to the Victorian Festival and looked amazing in it, that we're going to dress up together and go out on this outing. So I have to get mine fixed and finished up so that I can wear it, so I can be a good friend and do what I say I'm going to do. The green dress is the bane of my existence. I'm also putting together my list for sewing projects, for the sewing projects I need to get done between now and the end of July when costume college is. It's really hard because I'm also in my last semester of school with the two like homework heavy, hard classes, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm excited though because some of these projects that I'm considering, I have been considering for years, and I feel like maybe this is the year to just go for it. Why not? People, we just came through a huge pandemic. We were afraid for our lives. We were afraid of getting super sick, and we were afraid for our families and our loved ones and our friends, and our government made us very afraid of all sorts of things too. But we've come through it, or at least it seems like we have. Let's enjoy it. Dress up. Go out. Put your fancy duds on. Let's go. I'll dress up with you. I keep telling people, I will go. If you're in the area, or you're going to be in the area, Seattle area, I will go to tea with you anytime. I will also dress up with you and romp around probably anytime. I am putting together a Victorian swimwear outing, which I'm excited about. It's in the beginning stages of planning, but I'm excited for it because there are some beautiful little beach areas around. I also love the idea of maybe going back to Port Townsend for a day trip or an overnight trip some weekend and bringing our Victorian bathing outfits because I did not get to spend any time at the beach or by the right up next to the water at all during my last trip to Port Townsend, and I am just jonesing to get into the ocean. I am just jonesing to get into the water, at the very least soak my feet and my legs, and just water, ocean, true love. Happy place. And I love the idea of our Victorian swimwear and frolicking about on the beach in it. I think that would be really delightful. We could, wear something very simple to get to the beach, Victorian wise, and then change. I also have been looking into how Victorians changed at the beach. Now, they had bathing houses. These are crazy, okay? Bathing houses, and they're basically like these little houses built on these giant wheels with these steps going up, and the women would get up into these little houses and change their clothes, while men would push these little houses out into the water until you're like 3 feet into the water. Not super deep, just like till the water's like 3 feet deep. And there were stairs going down the opposite side with a door, so there's a door on both sides of these little like huts. And the women come out the other side in their bathing costumes and go down to swim in the water. And then when they're done, they would climb back up and change their clothes and get dry while the little house is pulled back inside. Or back to land, or to dry ground. And that was to keep the modesty of the women, because even in their bathing outfits, the water made the outfits, cling to their bodies, and that was considered inappropriate for men to be staring at and whatnot. But after a couple years in the later, or I guess I'd say in the Edwardian era, they kind of stopped doing that, and instead there were like these little changing tents, tiny little tents, just strewn across the beach where women could change into their swimwear. And they're really adorable, usually with stripes and like little fringe and stuff. I totally want a Victorian bathing tent. Sounds amazing. There are also these Victorian bathing like self tent things that basically have hooping in them, like a hoop skirt, and you pull it up and then it cinches around your neck and then stands out from your body so that you can move your arms and change your clothes down below, but still see people and talk to people, and I guess make sure no one's coming to peek on you while you're changing. I don't know. It's a mystery. But the pictures look kind of adorable and cute and fun, and I would totally use one of those because, let's face it, I would totally use one of those. So, my friends, I think I'm done spouting for the week. Next week, I'm going to show a little bit of sewing. I know. These are not sewing videos, but I'm going to be trying something that I haven't tried before in this particular project I'm doing, and the way the project is going to come together, if it works, I think it's going to look really cool, and so I'm going to want to show you kind of close up what I'm doing. So next week's video might have a little tiny bit of editing. I know, I don't edit. I know. But it might have a tiny bit of editing if I can figure out how to attach part of one video to another. Which I maybe won't be able to do. I don't know. We'll see. If I can't do that, then I will have some little mini videos on my Instagram next week to show you. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening to me ramble on. I have been so excited to hear that some of you are planning to go to costume college this year, and I'm hoping to hear more about what you're going to wear and what you're planning and how your sewing plans are going. And if you need any advice, don't ask me. I'm obviously really bad at sewing, but if you need any advice just about costume college in general, I love costume college. I've only been in person for 2 years, but I'm absolutely excited and can't wait to go. And I'm going to be a CoCo mama this year, which is a costume college mama, which basically means I'm going to have something, a sash, a button, something that says CoCo mama, so that people know they can feel free to approach me with, you know, if you're sad and you need to cry, come here. I will hold you. We will cry together. If you have a headache and you're dying and you don't know what to do, I might have some medicine on my person or in my room. If you need bobby pins or safety pins, or you tore the hem out of your skirt, I'm gonna have needle and thread with me, baby. If you're super hungry and you don't have time between classes, I will have snacks in my bag. You just come by me, CoCo mama. I will take care of you. And I'm hoping to find a couple more CoCo mamas to volunteer to just be available when needed. Otherwise, I'm also your friend, obviously, and we're going to have a fantastic time. So that's all for this week's video, and I'll see y'all next week. Goodbye. Goodbye.